Okay. Anyways, I believe his name was Hudhaifa or Hamdallah. It's not Hamdallah, it's Hudhaifa. He was he was called the keeper of secrets of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told him some secrets. Among them were also this secret that what are the names of the hypocrites. And Umar radiallahu anh, he went to this companion of Rasulullah, this Sahabi, and asked him, hey, he didn't ask him who the hypocrites are, right? He asked him, is my name one of them? Is my name in that list? You see, he's the one who was actually given good news. He's one of the Ashara Mubashara, one of them who's been promised Jannah, but he is still so worried about himself that he may not be a hypocrite, that he asks the keeper of the secrets, hey, is my name on the list? So can you believe it? So this is how our attitude needs to be, okay? This is how our attitude needs to be. Another example of that is one time, Abu Bakr, you know how when you go to the Jummah khutbah and you feel really pumped up with Iman and you feel like you can conquer the world and pray 5 times a day and all of the sunnahs, and you can stand up all night, you know, you feel really pumped up and stand up all night in prayer. But right after that, soon after that, you know, it fades away. So there was an ayah in the Quran, which I forget, which talks about that, not the specific thing, but it's implied. And Abu Bakr went to Rasulullah, how can we keep up with this? You know, it doesn't make us a hypocrite if our Iman drops. Right. So this is the kind of attitude that we should have. So whenever we read these examples of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about the disbelievers or the Jews or the Christians or the hypocrites, never think of others. Because if you're already doing that, you are already corrupted about yourself, because you've made yourself righteous and you've made somebody else unrighteous. That is actually a corruption, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَا تَزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Do not claim righteousness for yourselves. Do not do that. Okay, that is actually a commandment in the Quran. So whenever we read these ayat, if you're thinking about somebody else, that should be an indication that you yourself need to think about yourself first, because you are definitely in the wrong at this time. Does that make sense? Any questions? Okay, so the hypocrites are then calling out to the believers on the day of judgment in this darkness. It's like, weren't we with you? Weren't we doing all of these things with you? We were giving charity. We were praying with you. We came to the masjid. We accompanied you. We were your friends. We did favors for each other. We came to each other's house. We ate food and parties and whatnot. So what would the believers then say? Qalu bala. They said, yes, indeed, you were with us. Walakinnakum, but you all, fatantum anfusakum. You all put yourself in temptations and trials. Watarabbastum, and you procrastinated. Wartabtum, and you doubted. Wagharratkumul amani, and you were your wishful thinking was deluding you. Hatta jaa amrullah, until the command of Allah came to pass. I'll explain all of this. Wagharrakum billahi al-gharur, and the deceiver deceived you against Allah. What are they saying? They're saying, what does it mean? You fell into temptations, you put yourself into trials, meaning you put yourself in situations where you were being tempted. Maybe you don't drink, but you went to clubs. Maybe you are not a bad person, but you put yourself in bad company. Maybe you are a good person, but you put yourself in situations that tempted you and tried you. You fell into temptations, or you put yourself into fitna, into temptations. وَتَرَبَّصْتُمْ, and you procrastinated. Oh, I'll pray tomorrow. oh, Allah is all forgiving. I missed this salah, but I'm gonna make it up later. Oh, I don't have money right now for charity, but maybe I'll pay later. All of this later, I'll do it tomorrow. This is all procrastination Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. Wartabtum. This is such bad translation. Anyway, wartabtum, and you doubted. You doubted in the day of judgment. You doubted that you would be accountable. You doubted that you are not a hypocrite, right? You doubted. You doubted in iman. وَغَرَّتْكُمْ الْأَمَانِ, and you were deceived by your false desires. You thought this world, and you only live once, and you need to do and take advantage of whatever you have, and there's no akhirah, and there you won't be held accountable, and your wishful desires continue to delude you. You were not thinking about the akhirah, you were thinking about the dunya a lot, and that consumed you. Hatta jaa amrullah, until the command of Allah came to pass, meaning until you died. This is what it means, until the command of Allah. Also, it is the day of judgment, until the command of Allah came. Hatta jaa amrullah wa gharrakum billahi al-gharur, and the deceiver ended up deceiving you against Allah. Who is the deceiver? Shaitan. This is another name of Shaitan, Gharur, okay, in the Quran. وَغَرَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورِ, and the big deceiver ended up deceiving you. So any questions until here? Okay, this is all tarbiyah. This is all education of how you need to build up your character, and what is it that we need to think about. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَالْيَوْمَ لَا يُؤْخَذُ مِنْكُمْ فِدْيَةٌ. Then on this day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَالْيَوْمَ لَا يُؤْخَذُ مِنْكُمْ فِدْيَةٌ, then no ransom will be taken from you. وَلَا مِنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, and not from the disbelievers. So now the disbelievers are now lumped up with the hypocrites. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now lumping up the disbelievers with the hypocrites. First it was the discussion of the hypocrites, right? Now it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is including the disbelievers in that. So Allah says on this day, no ransom will be taken from you. No, nothing you can pay. No money you can pay now. You were supposed to pay in this dunya. Okay, it's too late now. Now you can't pay for saving yourself. There's nothing you can do. And no payments will be accepted or taken from the disbelievers. Ma'wakumun nar, your ultimate abode will be hellfire. Hiya maulakum, it will protect you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mocking them. Hiya maulakum, it will be your friend, your protector, the hellfire. Wa bi'sal masir, and what a horrible destination it is. Okay, we will stop right here because the next next set of ayahs I want to cover later on. The subject changes a little bit, and it requires a lot of discussion as well. Any questions?
No.
No, pretty clear. All right, so first of all, what I'm trying to do here is just give you a very, very, very surface level understanding of the Quran. Obviously, I'm not a mufassir. I can't claim to be a mufassir. In order to do proper tafsir, even though I call it the tafsir section, there is so much. And I ask Allah's forgiveness for the courage to be able to even explain this to you. But at the end of the day, in order to do proper tafsir, you have to have so much knowledge, Quranic memorization, hadith memorization, the explanations of the and tabi'een, and the successors that came after the companions of Rasulullah, the opinions of the companions. You have to compile all of that, and then you have to read in to the depths of the Quran. You have to know the language really well. Why, obviously so many different words can be used to explain the same thing. Why is this word being used? What is the relationship between the pronouns, and why is not only this word is being used, but why this form of the word is being used. And there's a study of rhetoric that is there. There's study of what's applicable now, what's not applicable later, and how the arrangement of the Quran. There's just so many levels. You can spend a lifetime just, if you do nothing else, but you could, and that's all you do, you can spend a lifetime on the study of the Quran. Okay, so obviously I've not done that. I am nothing. I'm nothing at all. I have very, very little knowledge, but it's still one of the reasons that propels me to give you these explanations is because otherwise nobody else is going to do that. You are not necessarily going to seek out at this age this kind of knowledge. So I'm just introducing to you, things that I understand, things that I realize, what I have read, just to expose you to interpretations of the Quran and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell us. It's just a mere exposure. Okay, so may Allah forgive me for any mistakes that I made.
I mean, but Sheikh, I will say it's just such an excellent introduction. Like you said, there's no sort of limit into how deep you can get into this. But for myself first, and also for perhaps everybody or most kids that are in this class, I think it's an excellent introduction, and it's a start to the, like you said, it's a start to the exposure, and it sort of raises more questions and curiosity, and makes you want to delve more into it. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, may Allah bless you for everything you're doing for us.
Ameen. Jazakallah khair. Okay, let's come back. Actually, let's come back in 10 minutes, 5 minutes before noon. Okay, let's do that. Okay, Jazakallah khair. Okay, I wanted to show you guys something. There is a pretty awesome site out there that I hope one day you will all be able to take good advantage of. Okay, sorry. It's called Tafsir.app. Okay, it's all in Arabic. I'm really trying to encourage you to learn Arabic, start learning Arabic, start your journey now. It's going to be a long journey, but it is a very, very important journey. You cannot understand the depth of our deen, or from the academics, those who are interested in academics amongst you. Maybe you're not that person now, but you might become that later. Highly recommend you guys take learning Arabic seriously. Ask me for help. There are lots of institutes out there that teach Arabic. Take that seriously, because that is going to be able to enable you to do the kind of things that to some level I'm able to do, or even better than me. There is, for example, just yesterday I was listening to a sheikh. He's a convert. He's from Belgium, and he became a Muslim when he was 18, and he speaks Arabic like a native. And he doesn't know English that well, but he knows Arabic really well, and he's able, he studied with the scholars all over the world. Amazing personality. His name is Suleiman Van Eel. Clearly his name is very European, as you can tell. Amazing guy. But he's just one example. We look at, for example, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. He became a Muslim in his 20s, I think, after a car accident, and he's excellent in Arabic now. So it's really your drive to learn Arabic that will enable you to better understand the depth. So we always hear Quran is a miracle, Quran is a miracle. You will not be able to recognize the miraculous nature of the Quran. It's only going to be at the surface level that you'll be able to see maybe scientific miracles here and there that are in there, or some amazing, for example, prophecies that are in there. For example, the lowest point on earth is the Dead Sea. That's discovered by science later on, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about it in Surah al-Ruh, where he called the place of the Dead Sea the lowest point on earth. So there's those miracles, but you'll only be limited to those miracles. But then if you really, really want to understand the miracles of the Quran, it's really its language, and the language in Arabic, and you will not be able to taste it. So for example, let's see, for example, wattini wa zaytun. Okay, so something that we all can relate to. You just type that ayah here in this app, and you go up here and you can go and study all of these tafsir. Some of these are the classic ones. Jami' al-Bayan, the first original one that was written in 310 Hijrah. Really, really old, okay? 1100 years old. Tabari, Imam Tabari, Ibn Jarir al-Tabari, he's the one who wrote it. This is one of the original tafsir of the Quran, Jami' al-Bayan. And the second one is Tafsir Ibn Kathir. As you can see, it was in the 700 Hijrah, late 700, Qurtubi, 600 Hijrah, al-Baghawi, 500 Hijrah. All of these, for example, if you go and just click on it, you'll be able to see, okay, here's the surah, here's the ayat, and here's the tafsir, okay? So for example, here Imam al-Tabari saying, al-qawlu fi ta'wili qawlihi jalla jalaluhu wa taqaddasat asma'. Okay, then the saying in the interpretations of the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, of the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, taqaddasat asma'u. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sanctifying his names, okay, in here. And for example, he says, اختلف أهل التأويل في تأويل قوله والتين والزيتون. There's a difference in opinions and the interpretations of Allah's speech here. والتين والزيتون فقال بعضهم, and some of them said, عني بالتين. It is talking about, actually, I don't even know this word. It's about teen, yeah, التين الذي يؤكل, the teen that you eat, the fig that you eat, والزيتون, and the olive, الزيتون الذي يعصر, and the olive that you squeeze that you squeeze basically to get the oil out of. You see, you're able to read all of this tafsir. It's like all of this right here. It's just the tafsir of Surah Teen by one of the Mufassir, Tafsir al-Tabari. Look how much information is out here. This is just one. And there are so many more. And there's some modern ones. There's Tafsir al-Makhshari, and there's some analogical ones. There's Hadith in there. There's tons of information here, guys. I just wanted to give you a small taste. Go ahead. Somebody was about to say something. Yes.
I don't think you're showing your screen if you're meaning to.
Oh my God. You just tell me that? Okay, I was talking about this Tafsir app, tafsir.app, you see? And I just typed in the name of the ayah. So I was talking about Jami' al-Bayan, Ibn Tabari, and all of these that are the tafsir. And there's so many more tafsirs here, okay? And for example, let's look at al-Baghawi. It's another famous one where you can see the tafsir of Watin Zaytun. Qala Ibn Abbas said, wal Hasan, and Hasan radiallahu anhu said, wal Mujahid, and Mujahid, he was one of the tabi'een, wa Ibrahim, he was likely another tabi'i, and you would know the names of who those tabi'is are, and Ata ibn Abi Rabah, and Ata, the son of Ibn Abi Rabah, probably related to Bilal radiallahu anhu, because his last name was also Abi Rabah, wa Muqatil, wa Kalbi, you know all these names. Huwa tinukum hada, this is your fig, alladhi ta'kulunahu, the one that you eat, wa zaytunukum, and your olives, hada alladhi ta'siruna minhu zayt, the one you squeeze for oil. Qila khassa tina bilqasami li'annaha faki. Anyway, on and on and on, and there's just so much content here. So much content here. So this will remain inaccessible to you if you don't know Arabic. It is not in English. It is not available in English. So if you really want to do one of the charities, learn Arabic, translate some of these works when you grow up. You know, there's people trying to do that, and what an amazing charity for the rest of humanity, for the rest of, you know, until we are all living on this earth, you'll be able to give these gifts that keep on giving to the people, translation of these works. It's just so much content here. And there's also poetry in here, the ancient Arabic poetry, where, you know, where the Mufassirun are trying to explain the usage of certain words in the Quran, you know, where they are found in poetry, so you can understand their context, because sometimes to understand the words, you can understand kind of what they are, but they might have multiple meanings, so they need to be looked at contextually, etymologically, and see how they were used in different poetries around the time of the revelation of the Quran. So that is why Arabic poetry, classical Arabic poetry, is another another science of utilities that is used to actually understand the Quran. So a lot of that is in there. There's just a lot of tafsir here, and this is just probably 80% or maybe 60% of the tafsir. There's more being written, but all of this will remain inaccessible to you unless you learn Arabic. So I wanted to just share a few moments here just to kind of talk about the importance of learning Arabic. Hopefully this was a good case study and encourages you to actually start on your Arabic journey. Any questions? I promise you, when you grow up and you're a good Muslim, you will regret it if you hadn't learned Arabic. I certainly did, but I'm still trying. I'm trying every day.